Did you know that you can change absolutely everything in your life in just 6 months? 6 months. It might sound like an exaggeration, right? But it's not. And I'm going to prove it to you. Most people live believing that changes take years. That you need to save money for decades. Study for an eternity. Wait for circumstances to align. But what if I told you that's a lie? What if I showed you that what you need is inside you, and that, by doing this, your reality begins to transform in a matter of weeks? Do you know what the most common mistake is that prevents people from transforming their lives? They don't know what they want. And this is exactly where it all begins. If you don't know what you want, any path will do, and that's why so many people's lives become a tangled mess of confusion, frustration, and repetition. Have you ever felt that way? Wake up, work, pay bills, try to solve everything, and at the end of the day, feel like nothing has changed. This happens because you haven't made a decision. Yes, deciding is different from wishing. A decision is a commitment, it's an order you give to the universe, and mainly to yourself. I learned this in the most impactful way possible. In 1966, I was sitting in the office of one of the greatest mentors I've ever had in my life, Earl Nightingale. After an hour of conversation, I looked at him and asked, "Earl, what's the secret? What really makes the difference?" He looked into my eyes, with a calmness that was almost unsettling, and said, "Bob, there's no secret. It's just a matter of sitting down, deciding what you want, and committing to achieving it." That moment was etched in me. That's when everything began to change. Because up until then, I didn't clearly know what I wanted. I had vague desires, loose intentions. But there was no decision. And maybe you're at that point right now. Maybe you're waiting to have the money to decide. Waiting to be ready. Waiting for someone to support you. But let me tell you something, the decision comes first. The money comes later. The clarity comes later. The support comes later. Everything starts with the decision. Many people live trapped in a cycle I call passive hope. They say, "I hope something changes, maybe one day, when I have more time." But have you noticed that this day never comes? It's not about time. It's about intention. And more than that, it's about declaring firmly what you want from life. When you say with all your strength, "This is what I want," you begin to change your vibration, your perception, your actions. You begin to filter the world differently. And here's an important technical detail that few people understand. When you make a real decision, your nervous system reacts. Yes, physically. I carry with me a card with my goal written on it. Whenever I put my hand in my pocket and touch that card, my senses activate. The vibration of that written image ignites a specific group of cells in my brain. This triggers a reaction. I feel what I wrote. I see it mentally. And you cannot think about something good and bad at the same time. Either you think about what you want, or you're drowning in problems. The choice is yours. And when I talk about decision, I'm not referring to small goals based on what you already know how to do. That doesn't move anyone. That's just maintaining the comfort zone. Real goals, true decisions, require you to look at something you don't yet know how you'll achieve. And even then, say, "This is what I want." You need to start listening more to what your heart is telling you. Your deepest wants don't come from the ego. They come from the divine side of your personality. True desire comes from your spiritual essence. It's the universe poking you and saying, "You can do more." But what does most people do? Repress? Silence? Doubt? Because they were taught to think small. To be realistic. To settle for little. How many times have you heard, "This is not for you"? How many times have you sabotaged yourself, even when you had a clear idea of what you wanted? Have you ever thought that maybe your problem was never lack of time, money, or support, but rather lack of decision? Aren't you tired of living a half-life, pretending to be busy, while inside you feel like you're not going anywhere? I lived that. I know what that is. I've been that person. But the turning point begins now. Take a piece of paper. Right, I decide that, in the next 6 months, I will, and complete it with what you truly want. Write it without fear. Write down the thing that would make your heart race just by imagining it. And if that voice comes up saying, "This is impossible," thank it. Because it means you've hit the exact right point. You're starting to challenge the old mental program that kept you stuck up until now. Let me tell you something, when you truly decide, things begin to happen. People show up. Opportunities appear. You begin to move in a different way. And all of this is not a coincidence. It's a direct result of your decision. Now tell me, what do you really want? Not what's realistic. Not what others think you can achieve. What do you want? That's the question that changes everything. And it's your honest answer that will start to transform your life, from today. There is a power inside you right now, and this power does not depend on your bank balance, your past, your level of education, or the city where you live. It's the power to create. The ability to create your own reality. To create from nothing everything that you want to experience. But here's the secret, this power doesn't work automatically. It responds to the image you hold inside. It responds to what you believe, what you feel, what you imagine. And this is why so many people live lives they don't want, because they unconsciously keep feeding images of fear, lack, and limitation. Have you noticed how some people seem to have a magnet for opportunities, money, and solutions? The secret is they create an idea, feel as though it's already real, and somehow everything starts aligning with it. This is not magic. It's physics. It's vibration. Everything in the universe vibrates. And your thoughts are a frequency. When you think repeatedly about something with emotional intensity, you change your frequency, and with it, you change what you attract. This isn't theory, it's law. Now pay attention, it's not enough to just think positively. Thinking is just the beginning of the process. What really changes your life is your emotional involvement with the image you carry inside. That's why I always carried a small card in my pocket with my goal written on it. Every time I put my hand in my pocket and felt that paper, it wasn't just the touch that was activated. It was a neurological response. A group of cells in my brain would light up. The image of what I wanted would flash on the screen of my mind. I felt it as real. And for a few moments, my mind and body were completely aligned with the future I chose to create. Think with me, have you ever had a dream so vivid that you woke up with your heart racing? Your body reacted to an image your mind created. If this can happen in a dream, what's stopping you from using the same principle consciously, every day, to create the life you want? The problem is that most people live the opposite of this. They wake up, turn on the news, hear bad things, sit in traffic, think about bills, and all these images build up, creating a mental movie of fear, limitation, and exhaustion. And then they wonder, why doesn't anything change? The answer is simple, because the image they hold is just more of the same. And it's this image that continues to guide their feelings, their actions, and inevitably, their results. Let me tell you something you may have never heard clearly, your mind doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only responds to what you repeat with emotion. If you repeat every day that you are broke, alone, or lost, guess what you will keep experiencing? Now, if you discipline yourself to visualize, in vivid detail, the life you want to live, and emotionally connect with it, your body starts to respond, your actions begin to change, and the universe responds. This is not a coincidence. It's vibrational congruence. Steve Harvey is a powerful example of this. Before he became famous, he wrote down everything he wanted to experience. He visualized it intensely. He spoke as if he were already living it. And even though he didn't have money, even without any resources, he held that image for years. Today, everything he visualized has become a reality. And it wasn't because he was lucky. It was because he respected the law. The same law that is operating in your life now, whether you know it or not. You can use this same power. Today? Right now. Start small. Take a notebook and write in detail how your ideal life looks. Where do you live? Who do you wake up with? What do you do throughout the day? How much money enters your bank account? For example, £200,000 or more. How do you feel living that life? After writing it down, close your eyes and see it as real. Do not just imagine, feel it. Listen. Touch. Breathe in this reality. Do this exercise every day for at least 21 consecutive days. And watch as things start to shift. You will notice that your posture changes. Your way of speaking changes. The decisions you make change. And with that, new circumstances, new people, and new opportunities will begin to appear. Because what you hold in your mind with clarity and intensity inevitably starts to take shape. You are a creator. You always have been. The difference now is that you can choose to create consciously. The choice is yours. There is something controlling your life right now, and you may not even be aware of it. It's not the government, it's not your boss, and it's not your bank account. It's an invisible program running inside your mind. A program that makes you repeat behaviors, reactions, and decisions as if you were trapped in an endless cycle. This program is called a paradigm. And until you change it, nothing in your life will truly change. A paradigm is a collection of deeply ingrained beliefs and habits. They were formed throughout your life, by your family, by school, by your experiences, by society. And the most surprising thing is that it controls about 95% of everything you do. Think about that for a moment. Most of your day is being decided by patterns you didn't consciously choose. You wake up, think the same thoughts, feel the same feelings, react to the same things, go back to the same habits, and then wonder why the results are still the same. How many times have you tried to change an area of your life, and despite your good intentions, ended up back at square one? Have you started a diet and then quit? Tried to save money but spent it all again? Promised yourself you'd change, but something pulled you back. This is the paradigm at work. It's sneaky. It convinces you that you're doing your best, when in reality, you're just repeating the past. The most dangerous part of the paradigm is that it gives you a false sense of security. It makes you believe that staying in the comfort zone is the best option. It whispers things like, "This is too risky, what if it goes wrong? You're not good enough." And if you're not aware, you end up accepting these ideas as absolute truths. But here's the key point, the paradigm can be changed. And when it changes, everything changes with it. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you act, and the results you begin to attract. However, this change doesn't happen by accident. It requires deliberate, daily, consistent work. I like to think of paradigms as train tracks. If you're on a track that leads to scarcity, no matter how fast you go, the destination will still be the same. The only way to change the destination is to change the track. And that's exactly what changing the paradigm means, changing the internal track that always leads you to the same place. It starts with awareness. Pay attention to your current results. They are a direct reflection of your paradigm. It doesn't matter what you say you want, what you have is what your paradigm allows. So, the real question is, what pattern is running inside you right now? The next step is to use the higher faculties of your mind, your imagination, your reasoning, your will. These are powerful tools that allow you to challenge the old programming inside you. You can use imagination to build a new image of yourself. You can use reasoning to question old beliefs. You can use your will to stay focused on this new image, even when everything around you seems the same. I remember a situation many years ago when I was asked to lead a sales team. It was a huge opportunity, but my paradigm screamed, "You're not good enough for this." For a moment, I almost turned it down. But in that moment, I realized, this is not me, it's my old program trying to protect me. I accepted the challenge. And that decision took me to a new level of results. That decision broke a piece of my old paradigm. And perhaps today you're facing a moment like that. A moment where you can say, enough, to the old pattern. But be warned, it will resist. It will try to pull you back to the familiar, even if the familiar is uncomfortable. It's like an elastic band pulling you back. But if you resist long enough, if you repeat the new image, the new thoughts, the new behaviors every day, there comes a point where the paradigm will break. And when that happens, you'll truly be free. You won't just change your life, you'll change who you are. This is the true transformation. And it is available to you. But it starts with a decision to stop repeating what you've always been and finally choose to become who you were born to be. Everything that exists in the physical world began as a mental image in someone's mind. Everything. No building was constructed, no car was made, no company was founded, without someone first visualizing it clearly in their mind. The image comes first, reality follows. If you want to transform your life in 6 months, you need to understand the creative power behind that image. What you see in your mind determines what you experience outside of it. When you create a clear and emotionally engaging image of something you deeply desire, and you stay emotionally connected to it, that image begins to materialize in ways that, many times, you cannot even predict. It's as if you are lighting an internal lighthouse that starts attracting ideas, people, circumstances, and opportunities that vibrate at the same frequency as that image. Because the truth is simple, the universe responds to vibration. And the image you hold generates the vibration you send out. I have seen this happen countless times in my life. One of the most memorable moments was when I imagined the construction of the studio where we record our programs and training sessions. It didn't exist anywhere at that time. It was just an idea, a fantasy. But in my mind, it was already real. I could see the colors, the furniture, the environment, the energy. I walked through that space, even though it didn't exist physically. And you know what happened? Shortly after, opportunities arose, the right people appeared, resources came, and what was an image became concrete. But it only happened because I stayed emotionally connected to the image. Most people don't do this. They don't know what they want to see. Or worse, they let the world put negative images into their minds. They spend the day looking at the problems, thinking about debts, talking about crisis, feeding their minds with doubts. And what happens? These images create feelings. Feelings shape behaviors. Behaviors create results. And those results are exactly what they desperately want to change. But they don't realize they are still holding onto the original cause, the internal image. Now listen to this carefully, your mind is like a blank canvas. If you don't consciously project what you want to see, someone else will project it for you. And most of the time, what comes from the outside is fear, scarcity, limitation. Have you ever caught yourself saying things like, "This isn't for me, I wasn't born for this, it's too late"? These phrases come from images that have been placed there by others, by society, by past experiences. But you can change this. Now. Today. The first step is to consciously choose what you want to see inside your mind. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine, how would your ideal life look? Where do you live? What do you wear? Who do you associate with? How do you feel when you wake up? How do you respond to challenges? Build this image with rich details. Make it clear, vivid, and engaging. And repeat this every day. You don't need to know how it will happen. The universe takes care of the how. Your part is to form the image and stay emotionally connected to it. Science has already shown that the brain does not distinguish between something experienced and something vividly imagined. When you visualize with emotion, the brain reacts as if it's already real. This changes your hormones, your posture, your body language. And, almost magically, the world starts responding to this new vibration. But here's a warning, in the first few days, you will doubt. It will seem like you're fooling yourself. This is the paradigm resisting. This is the old you trying to pull you back. Ignore it. Keep going. Hold on to the image. And slowly, you'll start to notice changes. Small at first. A different conversation. An unexpected idea. An unusual invitation. And this will grow. Because what remains constant inside of you, eventually becomes inevitable outside of you. This simple, but powerful, practice of visualizing with emotion every day has transformed the lives of thousands of people around the world. People who started with nothing, who were living in debt, frustrated, and lost, and today live in abundance. And it all started with an image. It all started from within. You have that power too. It doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter what has happened before. The real question you need to answer is, what will you choose to see inside your mind from today onwards? Because what you see clearly, you will attract with unstoppable power. What you attract with power will inevitably become reality before your eyes. Choose the right image to hold on to. Never accept living as if you were a spectator of your own story. You are the creator. You always have been. And now it's time to take on this role. The image you hold in your mind determines the reality you experience. Everything starts with a clear decision, followed by a new vision, nourished every day with emotion, focus, and repetition. You are not a prisoner of circumstances, you are the architect of your life. And if you apply what you've learned here with commitment in 6 months, that is, half a year, you won't recognize yourself from the amount of change. Now, if you're ready to take another step on your journey, the next video that is appearing on your screen is exactly what you need. It will help you expand your understanding even further and make you 1% better than you are now. Thank you for being with me up to this point. I'll see you in the next video.